Who here has ever felt the pressure of a looming deadline, the stress of juggling tasks, or the frustration of a project that doesn't seem to deliver the results you expected? Welcome to the world and sometimes chaotic world of projects. But here's the deal, my friends. Project management isn't just about checking boxes and hitting deadlines. It's about something far more powerful. It's about achieving transformative outcomes. Forget the days of equating project success with simply delivering an output. We're here to redefine project management as a laser-focused journey towards unlocking the ultimate value, the reason why your project exists in the first place. You see, the PMI in the PMBOK Guide 6th edition defined value as the net quantifiable benefits that a user, a customer, a stakeholder experiences from a product, service, or result. So let's take a step into the world of projects. Think about building a bridge. What is the end goal of building that bridge? Is it just to build a bridge? No, it's about connecting communities. It's about people using the bridge to move across the city. Think about this project. A marketing campaign, right? When you launch a marketing campaign, what is it about? It's about igniting brand loyalty. So project management done right is the bridge between good intentions and real world impact. It's not enough to just deliver the deliverable. We need to realize the benefits and the outcome. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to equip you with tools and strategies and ideas to transform your projects from mere outputs to engines of meaningful outcomes. But we're going to start off journeying into the very beginnings of project management. And I do need to tell you, this is presented to you on behalf of pmradio.org. And I want to let you into our secret seminar for newbies that is happening on the 4th of May. That sounds like something you want to be part of. Going down to pm360.pmradio.org because it's currently 98% off. And you can sign up for the half-day seminar for just $10. Let's jump into projects. What is a project? It's a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, a unique service, a unique result. But that's not all. I also want you to understand that projects start and end, unlike operational work, which continues throughout the life of an organization. But beyond the unique product, service, or result is another concept. And I want you to watch carefully. I'm going to show you an image, and we're going to take this image apart bit by bit to unravel what project management is. But before I do that, let's read PMI's definition of project management, and the image will make more sense. The PMI and PMBOK 7 have redefined project management as the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Watch this. Project management refers to guiding the project work to deliver the intended outcomes. Project teams can achieve the outcomes using a broad range of approaches: predictive, hybrid, and adaptive. There is so much to digest in this, my friends. But as the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I must say, though, it's a good picture that is worth 1,000 words. And I have not just a good picture, I have a great picture that will help you always anchor back what project management is. Are you ready? Let's take a look at the picture and the definition of project management will stick for you. Here it is. Project management is the application of what you know about the project so far, what you know about leadership, what you know about efficiency. No matter how little, no matter how profound, this is knowledge. You know, the saying goes, knowledge is power, but it's not actually power until you apply it. Applied knowledge is power. So project management is the application of that knowledge, right? Making it pragmatic, the application of skills. What can you do? What are your abilities? Perhaps you've got great interpersonal skills. Perhaps you've got great computational skills. The application of tools such as a Gantt chart, such as a spreadsheet, even a calculator, and techniques, certain ways you do things. Perhaps you decide to inspect a deliverable in a certain way. That's a technique. So project management is applying knowledge and skills and tools and techniques. And these could be very peculiar to the industry, or maybe they're general, but you are applying them to project tasks. Why? Because you want to generate a deliverable. And that deliverable is meant to give some value to the customer. And an example of this value in this case, it's a cake. Well, what the customer is going to take away is, I feel full. My taste buds have come alive. That was a delicious meal. All of those opportunities that we are capitalizing on and capturing, those are the benefits, something of worth to the customer. Have you ever eaten a dish that you absolutely love, that you want to eat it again and again and again? That's an example of some benefit. To someone else, it might be strange. They may feel, I don't really like that dish all that much. But to you, you are crazy about that dish. You're crazy about that food, whatever it is. That's benefit. Or maybe it's just the environment is the benefit. Maybe you go to your favorite restaurant and all you like about that restaurant is the environment. You love how it feels. You like the ambience, or maybe you love the live music. Or maybe it's the company of the individuals you go with. Maybe that's the benefit. All those things together is value, my friends. In this case of the cake, it's not just the cake, it's the fact that the cake tastes absolutely delicious. The level of deliciousness is a benefit to you. Your taste buds come alive like never before. Ultimately, when you add up all of these benefits, whether you can quantify them tangibly, intangibly, qualitatively, quantitatively, that's value. Value is the net benefit. And the customer is absolutely elated. She's happy. That's the outcome. So, all of that to say, my friends, the project is not about the cake, it's about the experience. It's about the ultimate outcome that the customer realizes from the project. It's about building a bridge that actually does connect. It's about a marketing campaign that ignites loyalty, brand recognition, unparalleled. That is what project management is all about. Is it making sense now? I hope so. Now, there are many examples of projects, and the theme remains the same. Why was the Taj Mahal built? It wasn't just to build a building. It was for a reason. It was for someone's satisfaction. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Temple of Artemis. Some of these were just statements. What about the pyramids of Giza? What about the Great Wall of China? I could go on and on. There was an intention to obtain value from those projects. Now, as I said, project management has existed for a while through time. the pyramids, the Great Wall of China. And as you see on the screen, project management has gone through ebbs and flows, metamorphoses, and here we are, 2024, and we are talking about the understanding of hybridization in project management. Let's take a look at examples of some projects. Again, writing a children's book, that could be a project. Human beings landing on the moon was a project. What about ChatGPT and its launch? That was a project. Let's simplify it even more. Driving to work is a very simple project for some people. For others, they may have to drive 5 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. For some, they may have to drive through traffic, dangerous terrains. So we do look at these temporary endeavors as projects, making dinner, hosting a family for a celebration, writing a book, and so on and so forth. So whenever anyone asks you, what is project management? I want you to remember the image of the cake. Knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. Applying those to project tasks to generate output that in turn is utilized, because the utility of that deliverable is important, so that we can realize the benefits, the ultimate value, which allows the customer to experience the outcome. Okay. Now, going a step further, we can define multiple interrelated projects as a program. Think about it like this. If I had a program of a hardware project to build the hardware for a game, a software project to actually build a software in the game, and the integration, that's a program. 3 things together, 3 different projects. Now, this is getting into deeper waters, and I'm not going into those deeper waters today, but I will be going into those deeper waters at our conference. So I would love for you to join us on the 4th of May, because you will receive 2 awesome publications about project management for newbies. You will also get guidance on how to break into the profession. Learn about how I went from a reject at an interview with DHL to being a prefect. And what I mean by that, I went from flunking the interview to training, teaching, and coaching project management across the world. My clients include the US Air Force, the US Army, the Department of Transport, and the Department of Commerce, to mention a few. If you want to be in this seminar, go on down to pm360.pmradio.org, get your front seat, and I will be answering, along with my team of 10 awesome project managers, all the questions you have about project management and how to break in. Okay. To wrap this up, I used the word hybrid a few moments ago. I want to explain this to you. Project management is many things to different people, but there's one thing we can all agree on. It's delivering value for desired outcome. But the way you deliver value could be different. You could deliver value like this. I use a lot of food examples, as you can see, because we can relate to food, right? So imagine you're cooking a new dish, right? This is you're cooking. You cook a little bit, and then you ask one of the guests, hey, how do you feel about this? Does it taste good? And there's an intermission where you make an adjustment, and then you ask the question again, is it any better? And then you have checkpoints along the way until you get to the optimum dish. So it sounds like a series of experiments. I cooked a bit, gave it to the guests to taste. And that's an example of what we call an agile project management approach. When we say we're doing things in an agile way, it means in the very beginning, we have an idea of where we want to go, but it may not be as defined. So we somewhat zigzag across a series of experiments. Sometimes we're right on, sometimes we're a little bit off. But as we continue advancing, we are ultimately going to get to the end goal. There might have been a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of experimentation, because we may not have been as firm on the scope. And that's okay. We call that an agile approach. Now, on the flip side, we have an approach we call predictive. A predictive approach is where you have everything planned out for the most part. It's very straightforward. This is not to say that adaptive projects are more difficult. No. We could have a lot of stuff to do in predictive projects, but the difference is we know what we're doing for the most part before we do it. When you combine these styles, you could have a hybrid project management approach, which is used to deal with different components. Maybe the hardware piece is predictive and the software piece is agile. Maybe the delivery is predictive, but both the software and the hardware pieces are done in an agile fashion. These are some of the deeper secrets and the language that you are going to learn, my friends, when we meet on May 4th. It's important as you try to get into the world of project management that you understand standard lingo. For example, the process group Pentagon is a breakdown of project management looking at 5 stages or groups of processes. These stages are initiating the project, planning the project, executing the project, monitoring and controlling the project, and closing the project. When you think about these, it's important that you realize there could be some overlap. Initiating just means a stamp of approval to proceed. There's a document called a project charter, which signifies the authorization to begin the project. Then we have planning, where we develop a plan for the project. In executing, we get the work done. In monitoring and controlling, we check to make sure whatever we have produced is good, is in line with requirements, and is ready to go to the customer for final inspection. It is also in monitoring and controlling that the customer does inspect the deliverable. And finally, when all is said and done, we close the project. And that is the 5 process groups. It's one of the things I would highly recommend to any new project manager, any newbie to know. Moving a step forward, we can define these 5 process groups in greater levels of detail. Initiating, we talk about the project charter, defining goals and benefits. In planning, we talk about planning, scope, schedule, cost, and quality, resources, communications, risk procurement, and stakeholders. We plan all those things. In executing, we carry out the work, we execute the plan. In monitoring and controlling, we are checking the work, we are controlling changes. And when I say the work, I'm talking about the product that we have derived, because there's actually a difference between checking a work product versus just checking the process. When you check a product, you are in monitoring and controlling. When you check a process, like a quality audit, you're actually in executing. Ultimately, you will end up closing the project, gathering lessons learned, and archiving those lessons learned and moving on. And this is how the world of project management works. Initiating through a charter, planning, which could be very detailed or high level depending, executing, getting the work done, checking the work, and lastly, closing out the project, or phasing a project. So far, we've talked about some key definitions to help you in your journey in project management. There's one more aspect that I'll share with you for today, and then we'll move on. But I have a question for you. Agile. Based on what I told you, it is best used when there is what? Is it low variability? Is it when change is unlikely? Is it when experimentation and discovery are needed? Is it when there's little chance of change? What do you think? Well, the answer, my friends, to this is C. Experimentation and discovery are needed for the solution. That is the best answer. All right. At this point, I want to show you a couple more things, and then we'll close for today. I want to show you another breakdown of project management, which we call knowledge areas. So if you're new to project management and you want to express yourself regarding what you might have done in previous jobs, these definitions may help you. Project management can be broken down into 10 areas of knowledge. The first area is integration. And integration management is where you are combining all the other areas to come. So when you're thinking about this, think about integration like putting together all the pieces of project management. For example, you are defining how the cake should look and how the cake should feel, right? The texture, right? But you're also thinking about the cost of the cake based on the requirements. You're also thinking about how long it will take to bake such a cake. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's where integration comes in to help you wrap everything together nicely. It's the overall coordination of project work. Scope management is identifying the requirements and everything that needs to be done to deliver the requirements. Schedule management is putting everything on a timeline, understanding how long it will take. Cost management is estimating task costs and budgeting the final total for the project. Quality management is identifying quality targets. The cake should be warm to be pleasant enough to eat, but not so hot that it burns people's mouths. The cake should be soft. It should have a sponge layer, and here are the requirements, blah, 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 from a quality perspective. Quality ensures we meet those targets. Identify the targets and meet the targets. Resource management is about managing human, equipment, and material resources. Communications management is about planning and managing project communications. Risk management is about planning and managing uncertainties that impact the project. And procurement management is about managing contracts and procurements. Last but not least, we have stakeholder management. This is about managing stakeholder engagement. We want our stakeholders to be engaged. We want to ensure that we are getting feedback from our stakeholders at the right time, and our stakeholders are getting feedback from us. Over the past number of minutes, we've talked about project management. We've talked about what the project should look like. We've talked about the concept of outcome over output. And I want to show you one more aspect. Now, this aspect, for some people, is relatively new. I want to show you a concept of projects, programs, and portfolios woven together. This is going into a little bit of the advanced territory. So we'll just work on defining a few things for you before revealing how it all comes together. If you ever go for a project management interview, these terms could really help you. And I'm going to give you my summarized definition for all of these. I'm not going to give you the full-blown PMBOK 7 definition, okay? So an outcome is an end result or consequence of a process or project. Outcomes can include outputs and artifacts, but they have broader intent by focusing on the benefits and value that the project was undertaken to deliver. Remember, we talked about that. Now we have a term, portfolio. A portfolio in a company, think about an organization, right? Your Name Incorporated. A portfolio for you would be all of the projects, all of the programs that your company is working on, and operations as well. All of the projects, all of the programs, and all of the operations that your company is working on to achieve your strategic objective, that's a portfolio. Okay? 3 things in a portfolio: projects, programs, and operational work. Next, let's define a product. A product is an artifact that is produced, is quantifiable, and can be either an end item or a component item of something larger. Then we get to program. Remember, I told you in the beginning, a program has to be 2 or more projects that are interrelated. Then we've talked about projects, a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Then project management. I have given you so many definitions today for this, but one should stand clear, and it's the image of the cake. Remember the arrows? Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements that ultimately lead to the customer or stakeholder or end user realizing the intended outcomes from the project. And you need to understand that project teams can achieve those outcomes using a broad range of approaches: agile, predictive, hybrid. All right, we're getting to the end now. Project manager. Who is a project manager? The person assigned by the performing organization to lead the project team that is responsible for achieving the project objectives. Last but not least, we have a couple of things. System for value delivery and value. You got to watch this one carefully because this is quite big. So let's talk about system for value delivery. Now I've given you all the definitions. I am sure the system for value delivery will make a whole lot more sense. But before we go there, for those of you just arriving, welcome. And I wanted to remind you that on the 4th of May and beyond the 4th of May, we will have repeat sessions, but the very first one will be the 4th of May. It's the PM 360 seminar where we share PM secrets. Go to pm360.pmradio.org. You will receive 2 awesome books in project management that guide you regarding what project management is. And you will also get a book that is like a compass to the industry, how to break in, how I broke in. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more insights with my 10 awesome project managers on May 4th. You don't want to miss it. 12 Eastern. We're going for 4 hours. It's a half-day session. Right now, this deal is an absolute steal, but it's not going to stay this way forever. So I encourage you going down and capitalize on that. Don't let that deal get away. All right. So, system for value delivery. The summary is this. It's a collection of strategic business activities. Now, that sounds a little bit big. What do we mean by that? Well, every company has a strategy, right? Every company has a chief objective. Napoleon Hill would call it a definite chief aim. What is your definite chief aim as a company? Your definite chief aim needs a strategy in order to pull it off. And when we talk about a system for value delivery, it is really just a system for achieving your definite chief aim. But it's a collection of strategic business activities, right? These business activities are aimed at building, sustaining, and or advancing an organization. Let's boil it down. All of the activities an organization is embarking on or is involved in, we can bucketize them as either projects or operational work. You could bucketize them into routine stuff or something that is a one-off. Even when you think about marketing efforts and sales, these come with the organization's routine. But you could have some special marketing projects or sales projects that are finite and they're unique. And once they're done, you move on to something else. So I want you to think about a system for value delivery as containing all of the work, all of the activities the firm is engaging in order to realize its definite chief aim. And these are really portfolios, programs, and projects. And all of these should deliver value. Ultimately, we can break this down as follows. Stay with me here because this is where it becomes a little bit advanced for the newbies. Stay with me, okay? Think about it like this. In an organization, we have a system for delivering value, okay? In that organization, we have a collection of portfolios. We have portfolio A. Portfolio A has got program A1, and program A1 has got these projects. You can see these projects in it. So I want you to really spend time understanding that in a portfolio, you could have a program such as that. And in the program, you can see you've got projects. The same for program A2. Program A2 has also got its own projects. And you can see they are interrelated projects. The same for portfolio B. It could be a portfolio with standalone projects that don't belong to a program. And that's normal. Not every project needs to be in a program. Also, program B1 has got projects in it. So when you take a look at this image, you can see that in an organization, you could have different categories or portfolios. You can have an oil and gas portfolio. You can have a construction portfolio. You could have a software portfolio. You could have an environmental portfolio for green initiatives, and so on and so forth. Now, in the entire organization, you could also have programs that are standalone initiatives for the betterment of the organization. Okay? So understand that all of these efforts are supported by operational work. It happens in the background, but operational work is so important because it helps support the firm. This is from PMBOK Guide, 7th edition, figure 2-1. It's an example of a system for value delivery. I know this is a basic preamble, but I really need you to get this so that you, when you come to the session, can ask questions. I want you to bring your questions about this. I want you to think about it. I want you to let it marinate. And then I want you to come with questions for us, okay? Now, going beyond this to the last slide, you got to understand that all of this is happening within a firm. And I call that the internal environment. Now, your firm exists in a state, in a country, in a continent. In other words, your internal environment exists within a larger external environment. And the external environment is also important in the grand scheme because as things are evolving outside of the firm, the marketplace, geopolitical concerns, wars, heavens forbid, marketplace conditions, all of this affects your internal environment ultimately, and ultimately your system for value delivery. If you have any questions, I would love for you to put them in the comments below. But take a close look and ask, does it make sense? I am hoping it all makes sense to you as you look at it now. As you look at this, you can also liken it to an aquarium. The system for value delivery is like an aquarium. The portfolios are the huge rocks, the huge boulders in the aquarium. The programs are the smaller pebbles or stones. The projects are the tinier pieces, the tinier sediments in the aquarium. Operations, the operations are the lifeblood. That is the water. The outcome is the view, the benefits, the habitat for the fish, the world they enjoy. Think about the last components here. Senior leadership have a strategy they craft that gets birthed into the portfolios. The portfolios drive the understanding of desired outcomes, benefits, and value into the programs and projects. Then there are deliverables with support and maintenance information passed on to operations. In a lot of instances, these deliverables are for the operational work being done so that the field service engineers and the field staff can implement these at customer locations, or so that the IT support people can do their job better, or so that we have products that can be sold, that can be through operations delivered through supply chain to warehouses, to mom and pop shops, to the mainstream. The operations people, they pass back information for updates, fixes, and adjustments. The programs and projects, they have performance information that they feed up into the portfolio. And ultimately, the portfolio feeds back performance information to senior leadership, and the outcomes, the benefits, the value performance analysis is fed back through what comes through operations back into senior leadership. I hope you enjoyed our time together today, my friends. Remember, if you are learning project management, you're a newbie, maybe you're even certified, but you feel this stuff did sound a little bit far out. Maybe you hadn't thought of it in some of the ways I discussed. You want to be part of this seminar because you can get PDUs from it as well, 4 PDUs to be precise. And if you study those books on your own, you can also claim that as personal studying. So, whatever the case, PM360 seminar is for everyone. Whether you are new to project management, whether you've been in project management for a while, we invite you. Go on down to pm360.pmradio.org. I would love to see you there. For those of you who are new to the channel and we have not met prior, my name is Phil. I will be your host, your colleague, and your friend taking you through this trajectory. When you come aboard our programs, you also get to hear from my buddy, my Agile coach. I call him my Agile genie in a bottle. His name is Roy. And Roy has been my coach in all things Agile, and we've done a lot of training sessions together, and you might have seen us online. The firm behind this training is called Praizion. We've trained everyone from the US Army to Lush Cosmetics, Johnson Controls, and others. I really look forward to seeing you in the seminar. Again, take advantage now while the price is so ridiculously subsidized. We want newbies who, like us, found it hard, newbies like us who are finding it hard to get into project management. We want to provide an off-ramp so that you can realize your project management destiny. But you need to take action by going to pm360.pmradio.org. Go on there right now, sign up, and let's see you there. I wish you all the very best in your project management journey.